It's approaching midnight, and you've been up for hours with your beloved mare, hand-walking her, trying to work out the pain in her stomach, referred to as colic. With no signs of improvement, you load her in the trailer and head to the vet. Upon examination, the vet asks when was the last time she drank, and you're not sure how to answer. Your mind begins to race. She seemed fine that morning. When did she take a turn? When did she quit drinking her water or eating her grain? Is it because the temperatures dropped? The vet brings you out of your daze and mentions this time they suspect she needs surgery or to be put down. Capcura, founded on the culture of care, wanted to prevent these types of nights from happening. By designing and patenting a feeder with remote access and based off real-time data collection through an app, Capcura, meaning take care in Latin, is bringing peace of mind to equine owners as they combat colic in their equine partners. Now Jennifer will discuss the industry and consumer trends.
It's no secret horses have an impact on our lives, but you may be surprised to find out the significance of their economic impact. Let's take a look at the trends in the industry. In the United States, the equine industry's economic impact is $102 billion. There are 9 million horses in the United States, with Texas being number 1 in horses per state. California, Florida, Oklahoma, and Kentucky follow to round out the top 5. There are 7.1 million Americans involved in the industry, with 2 million being horse owners. And in Texas, owners have $13 billion invested in trailers, tack, barns, and other related equipment. Not only are horses a big deal domestically, they also have a hefty international impact as well. The top foreign markets are Europe, Canada, the UK, and Australia. Switching over to consumer trends, horse owners spend $2.1 billion in annual maintenance. In 2016, the Women's Pro Rodeo Association had over 2,500 members, and in 2017, the Pro Rodeo Cowboys Association had over 4,700 members. When looking at horse ownership by generation, 49% are owned by Gen Y, 21% by Gen X, 26% by baby boomers, and the remaining 4% are owned by builders. In addition, over 65% of equine owners have a household income greater than $50,000. Internationally, in Great Britain, 55% of riders fall into Capcura's targeted age range, with 75% being female. 90% of Canadian horse owners participate in competitive events or ride recreationally, with 79% being female. And in Australia, the median age is 49, with 82% being female. These statistics provide a strong basis for Capcura's potential international expansion, which will be tested in year 3. And now back to Stephanie to introduce the target market.
Capcura's target market, the resilient rider, is broken down into 2 components, primary and secondary. The primary resilient rider is focused on professional athletes whose top priorities are happy, healthy, and top-performing horses. Let me introduce you to Bo Corder. He's a 35-year-old pro rodeo cowboy who lives on a 20-acre place in Stephenville, Texas, with his wife and 2 kids. He competes in 26 to 32 rodeos a year, earning approximately $60,000. And when he's not on the road, he enjoys hunting and fishing. Our next primary resilient rider is Ms. Jane Thorbred. She's a 38-year-old Stanford University graduate from a 10-acre farm in Rancho Santa Fe, California. And when she's not in training for the U.S. Olympic eventing team, she enjoys hiking, running, and working out. The secondary resilient rider is the larger segment of the Capcura's target market. They are 25 to 38-year-old recreational riders having an annual income of $50,000 or greater. These secondary resilient riders are willing to invest $3,876 every year into each horse. Capcura's potential market size totals approximately 1.6 million. This is comprised of 481,000 competitors and 1.1 million recreational riders. This means nearly 80% of U.S. horse owners fall as a potential resilient rider. In the spring of 2019, us at TexAg Marketing were able to survey 194 resilient riders. From this survey, we gathered that 56% showed an indication of wanting to purchase a feeder that allowed them remote access to in-depth information on their equine partners. Over half showed an indication of stalling their horses, and even furthermore, 66% showed a desire for a travel version of the product. And now Charlie will tell us why resilient riders need Capcura's innovative product.
Thousands of horses die each year from colic, and hundreds of thousands more suffer from the disorder. Veterinarians agree that colic is mostly caused by several factors, including irregularities in diet, temperature fluctuations, and high amounts of stress. Checking all of these factors is labor-intensive and costly. Capcura's product is an all-inclusive unit that allows horse owners to monitor feed and water intake, stall and body temperature, and track and store all of this information from their smartphones. The benefit from Capcura's product is derived from the labor savings and colic surgery savings totaling around $3,100 per year. Capcura's product allows horse owners to drop feed and go while still maintaining excellent care for their companions. Competitors within the same field are manufacturers of Nelson Waterer. Nelson Waterer manufactures a similar product to Capcura's product, but lacks some of the flagship features. The strengths lie within the unit in terms of the temperature readings, the tracking system, and the mobile app. Weaknesses come in high input cost involved with tooling and other production cost. A great opportunity for Capcura is to be the first to the market with a product whose features are not readily available. And finally, some of the lingering threats are low brand awareness and loyalty. I would now like to turn it over to Ian to discuss the business proposition.
3 key planning assumptions have been established to procure an effective marketing plan for Capcura. To begin with, Capcura will be the first company to produce and patent this kind of data collecting feeder system. Second, Capcura will obtain the United States export license necessary for international expansion. And finally, the United States equine market will continue to grow via both size and cash receipts. Capcura's goal is to introduce an accurate, real-time data collecting feeder system, providing horse owners with the information they need to make informed decisions concerning their equine health care. To accomplish this goal, Capcura has established societal, marketing, financial, and expansion objectives. The Year 1 societal objective is to donate 3% of revenue to the Courtney Cares Equine Therapy Program. In Year 2, Capcura employees will begin volunteering with Habitat for Horses, and in Year 3, Capcura will donate 5% of its revenue to the American Association of Equine Practitioners. The Year 1 marketing objective is to attain 10% brand awareness in Texas and Oklahoma. In Year 2, Capcura looks to gain a 3% share of the domestic equine market, and in Year 3, Capcura will attain a 5-to-1 return on marketing investment ratio. The first financial objective is to allocate over 40% of its budget to marketing expenditures. In Year 2, attain a 5% profit margin, and in Year 3, Capcura will continue its rapid growth by increasing sales by 30%. The expansion objectives don't begin until Year 2, where Capcura will begin research and development on a travel version of the product before moving into test 3 international markets in Year 3. And now, to introduce Capcura's one-of-a-kind data collecting feeder system, Destrier. Destrier is designed to aid resilient riders in the prevention of colic by tracking daily averages in each individual horse's feeding behaviors, reducing equine losses and associated costs. Now Charlie will tell you more about Destrier.
Destrier is manufactured from UV-resistant, high-density polyurethane that features removable buckets for easy cleaning and disassembly. A float system is located underneath the water bucket to keep the water bucket full at all times. Scale systems located underneath each bucket relays information to the Wi-Fi unit for collection in the app. Destrier features a standard 110-volt power cord and weighs less than 45 pounds, making it easy to install by a single individual in less than 10 minutes. Destrier is different from our competitors through its use of the mobile app. The mobile app is a great way to monitor consumption levels while on the go. Destrier will be priced at $749.99, and when compared to our nearest competitor, sells at a very affordable price while still maintaining a healthy margin of 58% above our input costs. Destrier will be available online to residents within the lower 48 United States, and all units will drop ship from CapCurra's strategically located Pasadena warehouse that has access to Houston shipping channels for shorter distribution times. I would now like to turn it back over to Stephanie and Jennifer to discuss promotions.
Like the armor on a destrier or a knight's war horse, CapCurra wanted to protect horses from colic. To introduce destrier to resilient riders, CapCurra will launch the Culture of Care campaign to generate product demand, build rapport, and provide a data collecting solution for resilient riders. CapCurra will directly market to resilient riders through a relationship manager and brand ambassadors. The relationship manager is responsible for ensuring that destrier resonates with customers, as well as making sure that all aspects of the branding strategy align with the company's goals. Brand ambassadors will handle the active promotion of destrier by attending major equine events and directly reaching out to current and potential customers. Jennifer will take us through the next component.
CapCurra will be utilizing two traditional marketing methods, radio and print. While traveling to and from work or competitions, resilient riders often listen to the radio. CapCurra will utilize Horse Radio Network and the Rural Radio on SiriusXM to reach the resilient riders. To stay up to date on advancements within the equine industry, resilient riders rely on various print publications. To inform resilient riders about the benefits of using destrier, CapCurra will generate ads containing product information, pricing, and customer testimonials. Stephanie, will you please explain the endorsements?
CapCurra will endorse distinguished individuals in their specific event to gain exposure with their followers. These individuals include Weston Hughes of calf roping, who is currently #2 in the world, Kay Young of bell racing, who is in the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. For horse racing, we have Steve Asmussen, who is in the National Racing Hall of Fame. And finally, Beezy Madden of the English world, who is a 4-time Olympic medalist. CapCurra will also sponsor various organizations such as Parsons Mounted Cavalry at Texas A&M through annual donations to help care for their mounts, as well as the American Rodeo through monetary support and by providing 10 destrier units to be won by competitors in timed events. And now back to Jennifer for EduMarketing.
EduMarketing serves as the educational forefront of the Culture of Care campaign, designed to build brand awareness and promote the benefits of using destrier to resilient riders at expositions and through affiliations. By having a booth at key equine expositions, CapCurra will have the opportunity to build personal, lasting connections with resilient riders. In year 1, CapCurra will have a presence at 13 events, adding 7 more in year 2, with 4 additional ones being added in year 3. To expose resilient riders to the benefits of destrier at conferences and events, CapCurra will form alliances with major equine organizations such as U.S. Equestrian, the American Quarter Horse Association, the PRCA, and the Jockey Club. Stephanie will now go over CapCurra's digital presence.
CapCurra's digital presence will be comprised of 4 key activities: website, search engine optimization, pay-per-click, and social media. CapCurra's website will serve as the main source of information and purchasing for everything destrier. Being available only online allows for easy expansion and outreach to resilient riders across the globe. By using SEO and PPC, CapCurra will generate instant top-of-the-page search results to increase the discoverability of destrier online. And finally, by using Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, CapCurra will post photos of endorsed riders, charitable involvement, and sponsored organizations, as well as videos featuring veterinarians and endorsed riders highlighting the benefits of using destrier. And now back to Jennifer for public relations.
To create a positive brand image, CapCure will donate to or volunteer with various equine organizations. The Courtney Cares Therapeutic Program was founded by the family of Courtney Grimshaw, Aggie Class of '85, and is managed by Texas A&M University. The program offers HIPAA therapy to individuals with physical and/or cognitive disabilities. CapCure will sponsor Courtney Cares by donating a percentage of annual funds into the program. CapCure employees will volunteer with Habitat for Horses during fundraising events to help aid in rehabilitation of neglected horses. And to expose veterinarians to the benefits of destrier, CapCure will partner with the American Association of Equine Practitioners, giving funds for research, education, and the promotion of equine professions. And, in the case of unexpected events, CapCure has developed a contingency plan and set aside funding. Stephanie will now wrap up the campaign by explaining the international test marketing.
For expansion in years 4 and 5, CapCure will test Europe, Australia, and Canada in the year 2022. To gauge interest in these markets, current brand ambassadors will travel to the FEI World Cup in Sweden, the Australian Quarter Horse National Championship Show, and the Calgary Horse Stampede in Canada. Prior to these expositions, CapCure will promote destrier in Australia using 91.3 Sport FM, and in UK and Ireland using the William Hill Racing Radio.
Thank you, Stephanie. This wraps up the Culture of Care campaign. Ian will now lead us through financials.
The launch of destrier yields profitable opportunities for CapCure, with a profit margin movement of negative 15% in year 1 to a positive 15% in year 3. CapCure will blow away its year 1 goal by allocating over 60% of expenses to marketing efforts in years 1, 2, and 3 in order to gain exposure with resilient riders. CapCure's brand ambassador team will account for over 30% of its revenue, with the remaining 70% of revenue originating from online sales. Following this format, CapCure will attain its year 3 goal of a 5-to-1 return on marketing investment ratio. The financial benefit of destrier to resilient riders is compared to the only direct competitor, Nelson Water. This is derived from a conservative estimate of 2 separate factors: colic prevention savings and labor savings. The colic prevention savings of destrier comes out to $135 in annual savings per horse. The labor savings accounts for the time saved if a proactive, resilient rider were to take time out of their busy day to account for every measurement that destrier takes with each feeding, multiplied by the industry average equestrian professional wage rate of $24.50 an hour. On the slide, the difference in the benefit to producer in a purchase versus non-purchase year is derived from subtracting the retail price of the individual unit in the year of purchase. Therefore, the benefit to resilient riders in a non-purchase year comes out to $3,124 per horse per year, and $671 following the same math for Nelson Waterer. Changing leads to monitoring and measuring, different tactics will be used to capture CapCure's return on marketing investment. CapCure will utilize Facebook Ad Manager, Google Analytics and Ads, and a time of purchase survey will be administered at the end of each online checkout to gauge a net promoter score of resilient riders. Once this information is obtained, it will be communicated to stakeholders in 3 different ways. Internal monthly memos will be sent to all company employees, investors will receive quarterly financial reports, and resilient riders will receive continuous interaction over various social media sites. And now, Jennifer will lead us down the home stretch.
It's early afternoon and you check the destrier app for an update on your mare's behavior. The alert you received that morning about her decreased water consumption and temperature drop overnight allowed you to give her Banamine before the situation spiraled. With her behavior back to normal, this is now another night you won't lose sleep hand walking her, another night you don't have to pay for an emergency vet bill, another night you don't risk losing your equine companion. We thank you for your time and are happy to answer any questions you may have.
First of all, congratulations on making it this far. Several of us at this table have been in your position. I was never fortunate to make it up to this stage, so but congratulations. So during this finals discussion, if you've never been here, we're gonna get some tough questions at you. So I'm gonna be the first one. You focused a lot on the rodeo folks. Can you tell me what percent of that 7,000-ish members of women's and PRCA members actually own horses?
Absolutely. So for the Women's Pro Rodeo Association, the exact statistic was not listed, and I don't want to speak to what and speculate, but for the Women's Pro Rodeo, a vast majority would, because a lot of women's events involves a horse.
Barrel
You have
racing.
to do it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what it is.
And that's that and then breakaway, and you have to have a horse. For the PRCA, Capcura does recognize that there is a segment of that will be your rough stock riders, but that also being said, and like steer wrestlers often share horses, but that being said, the people who provide those horses at rodeos for the steer wrestlers to ride and everything, they will also be at the events that Capcura will be attending throughout the edu-marketing portion of the Culture of Care campaign.
Okay, thank you.
Can you talk a little more about the target audience? A lot of what you're actually, and how that, let's try that again. Let's talk about the target audience and how it tracks down into the action plan. You really set up your two audiences as performance horses in the Western field and then in the hunter-jumper field. And a lot of the tactics that you seem to have are much more geared toward Western than hunter-jumper. So can you talk a little bit about how you're trying to balance that out? Because certainly you would think you would reach a Western performance horse rider a little different than a Stanford-educated woman who has her hunter-jumper horse.
For sure. So the main focus, seeming more geared towards Western, does start with the fact that Capcura is introducing Destrier in year 1 to Texas and Oklahoma, which are very Western-driven states. But as it expands into California and the East Coast, you will see in year 2, for instance, one of the events attended is the East Hampton Classic, and that is they have multiple events throughout that show. That's dressage, hunter jumping, your Longinus Cup. And so by being at those events, that will be part of the brand ambassadors portion, is to connect with the customers there and see what relates to them. And that's part of the training portion of having a brand ambassador for Capcura.
How you doing this afternoon? I'm going to stick with your kind of your audience identification. The resilient rider side of your equation, it seems like the largest market potential comes through that recreational side, and you say that you've got an 80% share of that's got an application as a target audience. What are the qualities that separate that 80% from the 20%? I'm having a hard time in recreation seeing how we have an 80% product target opportunity, only 20% not. What separates those two groups?
Yes, sir. So that 80% is actually the combination of the professionals and the larger secondary market of the recreational riders. The other 20% are maybe like the stall owners for boarding lodges, those that just don't directly own a horse.
Actually, I'd like to follow up on that. And so, just for clarification, does each horse need to have an individual unit, or can two horses have the same unit and you get the information on both Molly and Joe at the same time?
So the way the unit is set up is it's a permanent install application. And so through our app interface, you can have multiple animals on the same unit, but they have to be at different times. Okay. As shown in this graphic, you can have more than one horse if you rotate your horses throughout the day, but you simply have to turn on and off their profile when they're using Destrier to not mix up the statistics. So for every stall application, you will need a unit of Destrier.
So based on that, why did you decide to go after the riders versus the stall owners, or a larger group where you could sell, instead of 1 or 2 units at a time, perhaps a group of units at a time?
Well, there's several reasons we did that. The first one was because the actual horse owners, they're going to understand the value of this product much more directly than somebody who's trying to monetize the horse industry. For example, there's other factors that play into the value of animals that we're trying to save, like the emotional and the time investment that's involved with these animals. Trying to save a professional athlete horse is very, very important to the riders because they understand how difficult it is to get that animal and the 1 in a million chance that they have to actually win an event because it's so competitive. So we went after the riders first because they would have a strong tie to the value of preventing colic. Absolutely, you bring up a great point that stall owners are going to be the ones that are going to be buying this. But a lot of our target market actually do have their own stalls, and through our primary research, we found out that 33% of our target market was directly set up to take this unit and put it to work right away.
So does Capcura have any other products? Is this its only entry in the market?
So the way we set these products up was we started with the permanent install unit first because it was the lowest cost to manufacture, and we wanted to build confidence with our customers before rolling out the mobile version of it. The mobile version has a removable battery pack, which is very expensive, and the research and development for it in our budget was allocated more towards years 2 and 3. So at the moment, Capcura's sole product is the install application of Destrier.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking is if you have your introduction budget that you're going into the marketplace with, are you building the company's reputation? Are you building on Capcura and knowing that they'll go to that because that's the only product? Or are you going to build the brand's awareness in the marketplace? Because you're expecting some pretty significant sales when neither one of those things are known.
Yes, ma'am. This Capcura is close to a startup company. They are just entering the market and building, and in today's world where everything's so connected, especially through social media, primarily through the younger audience and through the very innovative older audience, it's very important to build the brand. And building that brand through the societal goals and marketing goals is a very, very, very crucial component because people buy from people they like. So if you don't focus on building the brand first and then reaching out to more customers first, you're going to really lose the sales component. And so, to answer your question, yes, this is the sole product, and this is a startup company, and we're focusing on the branding first and building their reputation and building quality products in order to find customers that relate to the mission of Capcura and go from there. And once this product will be adopted, because it's a startup company, then it's going to be very important to find investors to get it going because TechSci Marketing is expecting there to be a loss first in order to reach out to so many resilient riders. So it would be very important as a startup company to get that funding to get everything going.
So are you building the company brand or the product brand?
The company brand would be most important because going with the static version and then the travel version, we don't want to just have the focus on one product. That way they can introduce more.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to go to your financials. I've got some probably more tactical questions. You correct me if I'm wrong, because you went through this slide, and I want to make sure I got it right. You said you're going to have an affiliation with the American Quarter Horse Association. What does that cost?
Sir. McKenna, can you bring up the affiliation slide, please? Okay, so the American Quarter Horse Association has an affiliation fee, and whenever we contacted them via email, this is the code that they sent us in order to put our brand and our name on their pamphlets and their weekly emails, and in order to attend their convention at the end of, I believe, in every February in Fort Worth.
So $2,000 for all of that?
Yes, sir. That was the quote that we received whenever we emailed them.
I got to be honest with you, I'm a little skeptical of that quote because I work for a much smaller trade association and I would never sell anything. But I appreciate the fact that you. Thank you.